underserved communities. There are American citizens who grow up in areas where they don't have opportunity. American citizens where kids grow up and they have very dangerous, very bad schools. American citizens who say we can barely afford to live. And if you take these neighborhoods and the cities that deal with those types of problems and you spend more than $500 million right in front of their faces, giving other people who are not even American citizens all the benefits that the people of those communities have been begging for, what do you think is going to happen? Well, Detroit is now seeing what happens. It notes here the city council held a meeting Monday during which residents voiced their opposition to an approximately $60 million property tax increase floated as one way to help close the gap. They're saying, why are you making our lives more difficult while you're giving $500 million to people violating the country's laws? What about the citizens of this country? What about the residents of this state? That's the argument. In other news, the Chinese Communist Party is accelerating a trade war with the United States. It's not just the U.S. and having a trade war with China anymore. The CCP is ironically accelerating the decoupling of its country from basically the free world. Daily Caller said this. They said that China announced Tuesday that it is banning exports to the United States of some metals and rare minerals which can be used in the production of semiconductors and ammunition. We need it for our bullets, folks. They're restricting our supply of ammunition. That's serious for America. They note that China's Ministry of Commerce announced that it is banning export of dual-use items related to germanium, gallium, antimony, and super hard materials to the U.S. in retaliation against the U.S. government's latest trade restrictions. Now, the irony of this will impact the United States for a bit. When it comes to the military, going back to the Obama administration, they were getting rid of what they call supply chain threats. They understood when China, the Chinese Communist Party, restricted the supply of rare earth minerals to Japan, when they again had the disputes over the East China Sea, notably over the Senkaku Islands, which are Japanese territory. The CCP claims ownership over them. As a weapon during that time to manage what was turning into a military crisis, the Chinese Communist Party began restricting the supply of rare earth minerals, which crippled the Japanese high-tech industry. When that happened, that was a shot over the bow to every country in the world to begin looking at what products do we need that are reliant on CCP minerals or materials. And that began reports from the Pentagon and analysis from the Pentagon going all the way through the Obama administration into the first Trump administration, all the way through the Biden administration into where we are right now. Now, the important part is this. For basically core needs, the needs of the military, they have alleged they've been able to secure alternative sources to the extent that we don't need China. For the broader market and for mass supply, we still do depend on them quite a bit. But because of this, in recent months, there has been talk, notably, of establishing rare earth mining operations. Interestingly, Australia is looking to manage a lot of those operations in various countries, including in the Middle East, actually, and including in parts of Latin America. Australia actually is one of the bigger mining countries on Earth. A lot of their economy is on mining, especially that copper. And so Australia, being one of the major global mining powers, is going to be looking to create alternative sources of all the stuff the CCP is producing. Meaning, the CCP doing this will actually hurt us for a bit, but in the long run, the Chinese Communist Party is going to hurt a lot more from this. The United States, because of this, right, they've been working to secure alternative sources of the minerals, and this ban will accelerate those programs. It'll make them do it faster, and it will also work to solidify the breaking away of the United States, and notably every country in the free world, from the Chinese Communist Party. Because what's happening, even outside of the trade wars, even outside of the brewing global, actual physical wars we're seeing, the CCP is becoming less reliant for key goods, even on the business front. Businesses are saying it is becoming too risky to do business in China. And because they want to, quote-unquote, de-risk, they're pulling their businesses out. meaning a decoupling right now is taking place. The very decoupling the CCP says is trying to avoid, it is ironically accelerating by doing this. Now, look, in other news, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, is going to be in place with the incoming Trump inauguration on January 20th. But the new department, the DOGE department, will not just be operating with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. This is going to be something bigger. The House of Representatives in Congress, right? They are now moving to create a DOGE caucus, Department of Government Efficiency, with bipartisan support. Republicans and Democrats all working together to try to trim the fat. And now Democratic Representative Jared Moskowitz of Florida became the first Democrat to join the bipartisan House DOGE caucus on Tuesday. And here's what he said on CNN about this. Watch.
I think it's the time for staying in safe spaces is over. We should be able to go in spaces and have that conversation. I'm sure there's going to be things that Elon and Vivek are going to come up with that I'm vehemently going to disagree on, and I will make sure that I'm a loud voice voting against that stuff. But we got to go to where the conversations are happening.
Now, look, what exactly DOGE is going to have to change, we'll have to see. We don't really know where it's going to go. We've never seen anything like it, frankly, and so we will have to wait and see. But in other news, Amazon is doing something interesting. Amazon is suggesting some neighborhoods are too dangerous to deliver to, and Amazon is now being sued for that. In Washington, D.C. in particular, Amazon is facing lawsuits because it refuses to deliver packages to 2 zip codes, allegedly because of high crime in those 2 areas. CNBC said this. They note that Washington, D.C.'s Attorney General sued Amazon on Wednesday, accusing the company of covertly depriving residents in certain zip codes of the nation's capital from access to Prime's high-speed delivery. It says the lawsuit from AG, again, Attorney General Brian Schwab, alleges that since 2022, Amazon has, quote, secretly excluded 2, quote, historically underserved DC zip codes from its expedited delivery service while charging Prime members living there the full subscription price. That'll probably be the technicality here, that these individuals are paying for a service they're not receiving. In terms of the lawsuit, that's very likely going to be one of the main points. And that's what Amazon spokesperson Kelly Nantel said in a statement. It's categorically false that its business practices are discriminatory or deceptive. And they said, quote, we want to be able to deliver as fast as we possibly can to every zip code across the country. However, at the same time, we must put the safety of delivery drivers first, Nantel said in a statement. And added, quote, in the zip codes in question, there have been specific and targeted acts against drivers delivering Amazon packages. We made the deliberate choice to adjust our operations, including delivery routes and times, for the sole reason of protecting the safety of our drivers. Now, I should note, they're alleging, of course, that this has to do with the safety of drivers. Very likely, this also ties into one of the bigger problems right now of theft of packages, which is becoming a big problem across the United States. They call them porch pirates. The challenge for Amazon, though, is this. Aside from the safety of drivers, which they will be liable for, if a driver says, I don't believe I can go here safely, I'm worried about my safety, what's going to happen? Well, if something happens to them, who's going to be liable for that? The company that sent them there. That's going to be part of the technicality. Now, mail theft used to be a felony. The issue is companies that work on mass deliveries like Amazon tend to have their own delivery services. And so the question is, well, is mail from Amazon protected under the same laws that, for example, the post office would receive? This will very likely turn into a broader issue because for Amazon, it's not just about the zip code. For Amazon, this is a broader problem they're facing. Well, everyone, that's all for tonight. Thank you for joining us, and as always, please take care of yourselves, stay informed, and stay free.